Okay, so back to your micrography document. Okay, we want the live document. What we're going to be playing with is the stroke. We're going to be adding color, possibly texture. That will be an option, as well as some shadows and highlights. So this is a multi-step process. Again, you should have two different documents to do this to. Right now, I'm only showing you my roar, so it's a continuation from the last tutorial. Some things that you might notice differently from my roar here compared to the roar from the last tutorial is that there's some more details that are added to it. So I took the time using my pen tool and I drew in the eye for my dinosaur, which is on the inside of my R. I added an eyelid, nostrils, maybe played around with some points on the teeth here and on the tongue, added the nails or talons, whatever these are called, to this part of the dinosaur. Just to give it more character, to make it more like an illustration. So you are more than welcome to add more details to the object of choice that you used. And remember, only these details can go inside of your letters. The only thing that you should have within your illustration is the letters creating the shape of your object. Some of you were handing in documents that were not necessarily doing that. So think about it as that the letters are the shape of the object, and any negative spaces that are not being used should be deleted. So you should be able to see my R, my O, my A, and my R. And I kept pieces that, if I took them away, it wouldn't fill the shape of my letter. So like I allowed my letter to take up the shape of the feet, the tail. I even kept this little part of my O with the hand here. Same thing with my A, so I didn't get rid of that. I just made my A as if it sank into its hands. And then I used the legs of my R to fill up the mouth. So if your letters are not filling up the space in your illustration, I would say to rework them and then add the details into it. So maybe your letters are not just placed the way that they fit best. So think about how they fit best. Okay, so after that big discussion there, the first thing you're going to do, like I said, is add the details in, whatever details you want to. Then you want to play around with the stroke width. Okay. We're not going to play with the color yet. We'll do that at the end. But you want to play around with stroke width. So what you would do is you want to highlight all paths. So you could do that by just clicking and dragging like you just saw me do. Or if you're on a Mac computer, you can press Command A. That would select all your layers. Or if you're on a regular computer, Control A will do the same thing. So highlighting all my layers again. I'm going to make sure that they're all the same size. I'm going to make sure they're all size 2. I could go a little bit thicker. If I go a little bit thicker, let's say if I want to do like 5, might be a little too thick because if you're looking at my teeth, I'm losing some of those details as well as the hands and the feet. So kind of make those smart choices for your own illustration. You do not have to do the same size as I am. I'm just gonna, maybe let's try 3. Maybe 3 might be nice. Yeah, 3 is not too bad. So pick a size that you are most happy with for your illustration. The next thing is you want to play with the variable width profile. Okay, we played with this before. You can select, maybe like for me, I could select my letters, not my details, just my letters. Come in. And pretty much this could have the same uniform, same weight change. So you want to play around with these and see what they look like. I'm a big fan of this one here with profile 2 because it distributes the weight in different ways and it looks very like drawn out. For other things, like for this part of the foot, I could just make it look like it's tapering off. So it's going off into a point. There you go. That looks really nice. So I think I'm going to do that so all the inside parts here just tapers off because it looks very illustrative. Just find the one that looks best. Right? Yeah, these look really, really good. I could also go in here and play around with the eyes. I can actually make the eye lines a little bit thinner if I wanted to, but I think I want to leave it just like that. All right, so once you're happy with the way that your strokes are looking, the next thing that you want to do is you want to duplicate this layer. So I'm going to take my roar layer, I'm going to click, I'm going to drag it down to that plus sign down here and let go. Now it should say roar copy. Well, I'm going to lock down my original roar. I'm going to turn off the eyeball. And then for this one, I'm going to rename it. We're going to rename it Flat Color. I'm going to show you how to actually color this in like it's a coloring book. Now, the next thing that we need to do is we need to select all layers again. So you can press Command A if you're on a Mac, Control A if you're on a computer. Go to Object up at the top, and then you want to go down to Live Paint, and then click Make. This is going to say, okay, all these cool things that we just did to our stroke, it's going to go away. Click OK, because remember, we did all that fancy stuff on our roar layer, so it's okay if it disappears. But I am going to tone back the stroke a little bit, and I'm going to tone it back to 1. Okay, so now to make it like a coloring book, remember everything is selected. The live paint is actually turning your paths into shapes. So before, if I tried to click on it, it wouldn't allow me to move it. But if I click on one of them now, selected. Oh, it's turned it all into one shape, so I can move it all together. That's right. Okay, so your live paint bucket, I'm trying to remember where it would be under. Whoops, not that. There it is, live paint bucket. It might be under your shape builder tool, but if you don't remember where it's at, just press the letter K. That's what I usually do. Okay, so now when I put my paint bucket over top of any of these spaces, it's going to turn into this bright red shape. All right. When you're clicking or putting color into your shapes, you want to follow the black arrow, not where the paint bucket is pouring, because it will not go into that space. All right, so determining the colors that I want to use. You have the swatches here. Remember, this is what the swatches button looks like. You can go up here to select these colors, but for me, I want to kind of have a plan of what colors I'm going to be using. So you can go to the library books down at the bottom here, and you have all these different options. You have all these different coloring books, color properties. You can use earth tones, foods. You could play around and see what's under here. I believe I was under nature. And in nature, I chose foliage. So I'm going to do that again. And then you're going to get like all these different options here that you can scroll through of what foliage would be. You're going to find the folder that you like, and you're just going to click that folder, and you're just going to see that it's going to pop up into your swatches document here. So then we don't need this anymore, and I could just choose my colors right here. So the color that I'm going to plan to use for my flat color is the middle green color. And again, it's just like a painting book, coloring book. Just going to click, click, and it just fills it all in. And then I can go in and figure out, okay, what color do I want the nostril to be? I'm going to want it to be black. Let's see, in the middle of the eye is going to be black. That's going to be left white. Even though it is already white, I'm going to fill it in white because it's only showing the color that's behind it. All right, and then I want this part to be white as well. And then the color of his eye, I didn't think about this. Make it a light blue. Nah, he's a little angry. Let's make it red. Evil dinosaur. All right, and then back to my green, because I'm going to make it a darker green as far as eyelid. Now, if I zoom in, I have all these different sections here. I could just fill them in green, 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 because that's a part of his eyelid. Let's see, his tongue. Right, it's red. All right, but if you notice now it's going into his teeth. I don't want that to happen. So that is something I'm going to have to fix after I'm done doing the live paint. And I can always come back and do the live paint, and I'll show you that in a second. I'm sure some of these whoopsies will happen to you as well. All right, back to my live paint bucket. So I made that one a darker green because it's behind. And then his nails, maybe I'll make like a dark gray. Okay, I'm going to leave the middle of his body empty there. Right, and then to end this, when you're done coloring and everything, oh, I forgot to color in his teeth white. White. You're going to go back to object. You're going to go to expand. I'm going to highlight all my layers again. Have it all selected. Go to object, go to expand. It's going to ask what to expand, and you're just going to click OK. You don't have to change any of that. So now that I'm done, I can go back to my white direct selection tool. I could click on my anchor point here, and I can click that down so it touches that other line and it cuts it off. So then if I wanted to add some more color in here, right, I want to select it. Notice now when I select anything, it's all on one layer. And I'll show you that in a second, but I'm going to go back to object. I'm going to go to live paint. I'm going to go to make, because remember, I want to paint that tongue. And I'm going to do this color right here, and I'm just going to paint that in. Again, when you're done, object, expand, click OK. That tells you that you're done painting. And it tells the program that you're done painting.